Hello and welcome to another video, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different than I typically do on the channel. So normally on the channel when I make videos, I try to steer clear of YouTube drama, especially when it is in tangent with other content creators, because I don't really like to comment on that kind of stuff very often, and I also think that there are just so many better YouTube channels out there that cover that kind of stuff on a regular basis that I don't really feel like I need to put my 2 cents into it or voice my opinion on the matter. And also, like, I just, normally I like to just, ride the line of not putting videos like this out because I don't want to offend anybody. But again, I'm a small YouTube channel, so at the same time, who the hell cares, right? So the video that I wanted to post today, and it's one that I've seen kind of going around in the last week, I couldn't tell you how many videos have been recommended to me on YouTube about this, is the whole controversy with plagiarism and James Rolfe and Cinemassacre and Screenwave and everything that happened with Monster Madness in the last week. Because I definitely have an opinion on the matter, but at the same time, I'm seeing all these videos that constantly bash James Rolfe for his decisions involving Cinemassacre and kind of his involvement with what he does on a regular basis with his YouTube channel now. And I frankly, I'm just kind of tired of it, so I wanted to more or less comment on that, and this is a part of it. So I've been recommended so many different videos on YouTube with different people's opinions, and this video is probably going to show up in that type of algorithm as well. Basically, in the last couple months, dissing James Rolfe for his decisions behind the scenes in terms of he's not the guy that's making videos for his, YouTube channel anymore. He, is more of an on-screen personality at this point. He kind of outsources a lot of the editing and script writing to other people at Screenwave Media, who basically run Cinemassacre now. And, the issue I have with it, and he's put out update videos before where he said, like, look, I did this because he's in his 40s now. He's a family man. He has 2 kids. I believe one of them is special needs. If I'm wrong with it, please, post something in the comments. It's special needs to some extent, but I don't remember exactly. But the problem I have with it is people just love to bash his decisions for outsourcing a lot of these things because they feel like he should be a one-man band still, as he was 15 years ago when he started Cinemassacre, when he started making YouTube videos. I mean, this is a guy who started making videos before YouTube was even a concept. 2006, I believe his original videos were on game trailers. I mean, I'll tell you guys personally, I didn't really know who James Rolfe was until I met my girlfriend 6 years ago. She actually was the person that told me, about Cinemassacre, about his YouTube channel, about Angry Video Game Nerd. I had heard the term Angry Video Game Nerd, thrown around a lot, but I never really put 2 and 2 together. And then I kind of just went on a binge with the Angry Video Game Nerd and, grew to really fall in love with his channel. Not necessarily for the Angry Video Game Nerd, but more for the Monster Madness and horror film aspect of it. Because if there's one thing I'll say about James Rolfe is he has a deep love, admiration, and respect for horror movies that I just don't find as much in modern times, 2021. Especially when, like, I'll give a prime example. You look at a movie like Hereditary, which still, to me, is the scariest movie I've seen to this day. The movie should have won Oscars, and it didn't. Hollywood hates horror movies. So, unless there's some uptight, Hollywoodized horror movie. But even so, like, Hereditary should have won some Oscars, and it didn't. And that's the point I'm trying to make. He really has a love for film, and especially making, short films and whatnot. So I've grown to respect him in many ways. For me personally, on my YouTube channel, it's somebody I look up to and admire for his YouTube content, for what he does, for his output. And I know he's probably never going to watch this video, and that's that's perfectly fine. I'm a really small YouTube channel. It is what it is. But I respect him for even making the decisions of, like, hey, I work with Screenwave Media now and they help me with all these things. I got no problem with that. I saw a video of some people bashing him for the one of the update videos he recently put out, because he talked about how difficult it is still filming on his own. He's talking about how he's like duct taping a camera to the ceiling, and I understand why people are bashing that. You know, like, again, as someone who also makes YouTube videos, I'll tell you, behind the scenes, if you saw what it looked like behind the scenes when I film these videos, it is some of the most ghetto shit you'll ever see. So, like, I totally get it, and I totally understand where he's coming from. Where I have a problem with this most recent thing and the whole plagiarism fiasco and everything is just, it's been handled poorly. Like, when I look at the situation, the first thing that should have happened when this was put out was, hey, we messed up. We're going to take this one as a team. We all made this mistake. You know, they all should have owned it. Instead, what it seems like it's been is, you know, first of all, the head of Screenwave, he came out and kind of had like a half-assed apology where he was like, yeah, we're really sorry this happened. You know, I'm going to look through all these. We're going to re-edit, reshoot, and put up that video. Cool. Then James put out a video that was, you know, surprisingly unlisted on YouTube. Like, I had to search for this thing. It didn't show up in his feed, which I thought was really weird. Where he basically, it was a non-apology. It was, you know, hey, I just read the scripts. And that was really disappointing to me as a fan of his YouTube channel. It's like, look, I understand you outsource scripts to other people, that they're going to do this kind of stuff. They're going to, you know, they do some research, and obviously for whatever reason, somebody fumbled here, and it is what it is. But still, this is your brand. This is your YouTube channel. Own it. Don't just push it on someone else. And even though he's not the person that did the actual plagiarizing, he's involved in it. It's his YouTube channel. He read the words. He should own up for it a little bit more than they are. So I just feel like it's been handled poorly. And the other aspect of it, I think, that is kind of disappointing in this regard is well, I can understand the idea of outsourcing scripting for Angry Video Game Nerd. I can understand outsourcing editing YouTube videos. I can really understand that as somebody who's, you know, behind the scenes trying to learn how to use Adobe Premiere for the first time. I fully understand where he's coming from with that. You know, and all these other things, I get that. Where I have an issue with him even more on this is, why are you outsourcing scripting for a review of a movie? This is a 4 to 5 minute, these videos are 4 to 5 minutes, which I always enjoy Monster Madness. These videos are 4 to 5 minute, like, mini reviews of a movie. I understand it. I get it. I know it's hard. It's difficult, especially when you have a family or whatnot. But this is the thing that he always is mentioning, like, he's the most passionate about. It seems like there's a real lack of passion when you're outsourcing scripting for a movie review. Like, I can't even fathom that. Like, I can't fathom sitting here and watching, I'm just throwing the first movie that came in my head. I can't sit here and imagine, like, going to the theater and seeing the 2017 Justice League movie, which I did, and I do have a video on my channel. It's probably not very good by today's standards, but, you know, reviewing that movie, but going and seeing it and then going to somebody else that saw it, hey, write me a review of this, and then I'm gonna read those words on camera. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. When it's supposed to be an opinionated content, you should be doing that part of it. And I understand, like, scripting for being an on-screen personality for something like the Angry Video Game Nerd makes sense. I don't get that. But to have somebody else script a movie review, which is supposed to be your opinion, that's pretty lame. And honestly, like, kind of just sad, and it sucks the passion out of it. Like, again, this is something that this man has always said, like, I'm super passionate about, and I've always enjoyed the Monster Madness, you know, movie reviews and stuff. I've gone back ever since learning about Cinemassacre, and I've watched most of them, and I really enjoyed them. But this year, it just seems like, now that now that the curtain's been lifted, and you know, you look behind the curtain and you see, like, the gerbils spinning on the wheel, it's kind of like, why bother then? Like, if you're not going to actually write the review yourself, and I'm not even talking about editing it. Like, you can have somebody else edit it and put together the footage and stuff, that's fine. But to not even write the review and have somebody else write an opinion about a movie and you're just reading it, that's just kind of shitty. So it's a real bummer. And like the plagiarism stuff aside, which is also terrible, like it's just kind of also at the same time ironic, because on the flip side of things, like I saw the interview that Colin Moriarty put out with Philip Mewson, who is the IGN editor that was famously fired a couple years ago for plagiarism. And well, this, I mean, clearly words were lifted in this video review for, I don't even remember what the movie is at this point, because it's just, everybody's talking about the plagiarism. I think it was 28 Days Later. You know, well, that's an issue, and it is, you know, plagiarism. It's not to the extent of that guy, who was clearly just every single review he did, he was lifting from other places. And I think that's a person who not only didn't understand what plagiarism means, but also had some severe anxiety in being in this, being in the video game industry. I mean, I'll say personally, for my YouTube content, I don't script really anything. I have one video on my entire channel that's actually scripted. I mean, I do outline ideas and stuff, but I purposely don't write scripts. And the reason I do that is because I am deathly afraid of plagiarism. So, but the one video review that I ever scripted, it wasn't even a video review. It was a retrospective of Dark Souls, which I really enjoyed doing that video. But I scripted that, and it took longer to script it, and it was a process, and I wanted to see what it was like. But I'll just tell you guys straight up, like when I film a video or an opinion or something, I basically, you know, sit the camera up on the tripod, I hit record, I plug in my microphone, and I just go. Like, I don't really have anything I'm looking at here, or like, you know, reading a script. And like, yes, that's less professional, but I can guarantee then that my words are my own, and they're not the words of somebody else. So I'm just curious, you know, again, I don't do videos like this normally. I don't like to talk about other YouTubers, but this one just was really, for me personally, just as a fan of Cinemassacre, as a fan of James Rolfe and the work he's done in the past, it was very disappointing, not only how this whole ordeal, you know, situation was handled, but also disappointing to learn, like, you outsource 31 movie reviews, man. You're just reading this? Like, then why even do it? Like, at that point, I'd rather them go back to the format from a couple years ago, where it was him and either like Mike Matei or one of the Screenwave Media guys talking about movies on camera. And I understand, like, obviously he wanted to go back to an older format. Obviously we live in COVID times. Totally get that. And 6 months ago, when they started, you know, doing this stuff and planning, vaccine wasn't available like it is today. So I totally get that. But at this point, like, if you're going to do something, a big project like this, do it that way, or do it a way that makes sense. Don't outsource a movie review to somebody else, because you're not even reading your own words, man. Like, that's just, it's a bummer. So let me know in the comments below if you liked this style of video, but also what your opinion is of the whole James Rolfe controversy. If you're a Cinemassacre fan, I'm curious. You know, I'm not one of these people that, you know, is gonna you know, grab up my pitchfork and go, I'm not gonna watch any Cinemassacre stuff anymore. Like, I still watch AVGN. I have been watching his podcast, which I think is actually pretty decent. And, you know, I mean, obviously on the flip side of that, you know, as I've just started a podcast with two of my buddies, which I highly recommend you go check out, Podcast 572. It's everywhere. It's interesting. I've always enjoyed podcasting, at least listening to it. I'm enjoying making a podcast, and I'd love to know your opinion on that as well. So please go check it out. It's on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you can get it. Podcast 572. Anyways, you know, thumbs up, leave a like, let me know in the comments below, and otherwise I will catch you later.